Hey there and welcome back to my channel, and if you're new, welcome to my channel and thank you so much for being here. If you're new, make sure you subscribe before you leave, and if you're a returning subscriber, if you haven't already, hit that little bell down below for notifications when I put up new videos. I upload twice a week. Okay, you guys, I am not gonna lie, I had no idea what videos I wanted to film for this week, aside from a stereotypical haul, and then it hit me, I haven't done an Ask Me Anything for a really long time on this channel, and that's partially because I'm just like, who wants to ask me anything? My life is so boring, but evidently there are a lot of questions that you guys have for me, because yesterday I took to my Instagram and just asked you guys what you wanted to know, anything really, and there were a decent amount of questions that came in, so I'm gonna answer as much of them as I can without this being like overwhelming. I mean, I'm feeling a little good about myself right now. Sometimes when I do these, there's like 2 questions and I'm like, well, I guess that's not happening. But I won't keep you guys waiting very long, and I know that I've just had like a pretty decent influx of followers, so maybe this will give some of you a chance to get to know me a little bit more. And as I always say, let me know if there's anything specific you want to know in the comments below, and maybe I can revisit that next time I do one of these videos. But I won't keep you guys waiting very long. Grab a snack. I've got my water bottle right beside me because I am sure as heck going to need it, and let's get started. Okay, so Oh Northern Girl asks, how do you think your personal style has changed in the last 2 years? Well, first off, hello, thank you for your question. My style has changed drastically. I think that if you have been around for at least the last 2 years, 3 years, whatever, you have seen me go from sort of more of like a vixen style. I used to really like the whole pinup style. I had jet black hair, blunt bangs. I used to always like side part when I could, and if you are looking at me now, you can tell that's not the case whatsoever. Hold on, I'm gonna get more comfortable. I am an entirely different person now. I think that my style has changed a lot. I think that I've sort of grown into a more mature style. I feel like I've been able to kind of gravitate out of that like 1950s vixen-esque, which, by the way, nothing wrong with that whatsoever. I just think for me, it was something I did when I felt like I was getting into it because it was styles that I saw elsewhere, and I still absolutely love it. I just don't know if it's something that I would personally do much more on my own. But now I kind of still like that whole retro style, but I'm leaning more towards like 70s these days, and I really quite like playing with more modern styles. I don't wear as many dresses anymore. So I just say that in general my style has sort of like grown up as I've grown up. So the next question is, would you ever permanently move to the US? Well, yeah, I would. If you didn't know, I'm dating somebody long distance and have been for going on 7 years now. And I think that I would, even if I wasn't with my boyfriend, just because there's a lot more opportunities available to me in the States. There's a lot more that I could do. In general, I definitely would. I still really love Canada though. It's obviously my home, so that's kind of one of those things that I'm just like, I would, but then I don't know if I want to give up my Canadian home and the people that I love here. But I've also just sort of come to a point where I realize that no matter where I go, always going to miss someone or something. So best way to try and get out of a funk / bad mood in the morning. Oof, oof. Okay. I am so bad at these, and I feel like I've been getting them a lot more recently, or at least like the past week or two. I was definitely in a funk in the mornings, and that's just because it was gloomy out, I was on my period, there were just so many factors at play. And I think sometimes when it comes to bad moods, you just need to like allow yourself to have it. Not all the time, because all the time would just obviously mean that you wouldn't do anything and you would just be in this continuous like horrible mood. But for me, sometimes it's just allowing myself to be like, alright, today is that day. I'm just gonna be moody about everything. I'm gonna be angry about everything, and just allow that to kind of be my state. And then tomorrow I'm not gonna allow that to take over me, and I'm not gonna sit in that. Like, if I feel that way, I'm gonna do something that I know in the past has made me feel good. And this is totally dependent on who you are. For me, I really love going for walks, or, you know, cooking or taking baths or whatever it is that I do that is always kind of like boosted my spirits. So all I can say is if that's kind of where you're at, just allow yourself to kind of have one of those days, and then from there slowly but surely do a few things that you like to do and start kind of like sprinkling them back. Trying to recall the other stuff that you said. And in terms of just being in a funk, man, that's tough, because sometimes when you're in a funk, you need to figure out why you feel that way, and that could be a multitude of reasons. Like right now, with it being the winter, it is so hard for me to feel productive or any of the things that I need to feel in order to feel like I'm living the life that I want to live. So sometimes you've got to look at what it is that's causing that and see what you can do to change that. So like I just said, for a little while I was in a really bad funk. I was super grumpy all the time, and it was for a few reasons. A, I wasn't getting good sleep at all, and B, like I said, I was on my period, and then continuing that, I was also not doing things like getting outside and getting sunshine and doing that. So if there's anything particular in your routine right now in your daily life that just is like adding to, or rather that you're not doing, that usually helps improve your mood, just look at those little fine details and figure out what that is and start trying to implement slight and very baby step changes into your mood, because you're not just gonna like get out of it right away. Sometimes you just gotta be like, okay, today I'm gonna do this little thing. It's not gonna fully change how I feel, but at least it's the start to changing how I feel. Someone says, what's an AMA? Well, for those who don't know, AMA stands for Ask Me Anything. Maybe I should have verified that. What's your favorite piece of clothing? Honestly, I really don't know. I have way too much clothing to answer that question, but I think currently the favorite type of clothing I have would be like jumpsuits. They're just so easy, especially when I'm not feeling super creative and I just want to throw something on that's like easy. They're probably the best thing for me right now. And like printed leggings. I have a few printed leggings from Torrid that I'm very into that I'm looking at. There's a pair of black plaid ones in the corner, and I belt it and just kind of make it a look, and it's one of my favorite pieces right now. Is it a fashion don't to wear flesh colored tights? Listen, I'm never gonna tell anyone what to wear on their body. I would never do that, but personally, I don't ever want to go out in public and feel like people have to do a double take to tell if I'm wearing pants or not. I get really self-conscious in salons. Have you found any in the GTA that are plus size friendly? So I mean, I get what you're saying. Certain vibes of certain salons are not very inviting, or the chairs aren't really stable and or accommodating. I haven't personally found any salons in the GTA that haven't been comfortable for me or haven't been welcoming for me, and I just think that that boils down to you and the vibes and the feelings that you get in a salon, and that just comes from going there and meeting the people and kind of gauging the vibe in general. But like personally, I haven't found any salon that hasn't made me feel good about myself or has kind of made me super self-conscious. I actually feel that more with like nail salons, and there's definitely been ones that I'm like, I'll never come here again, because I feel like the people here are just kind of looking at me strange, and so I totally completely get what you're talking about. So I wish I could give you a specific place to go to, but genuinely speaking, I don't have a specific place to mention to you. I've just had good experiences in pretty much most of the places that I've gone to. Sorry you guys, I don't really remember where I was. I got a phone call from my friend Allie, but I'm just gonna go back to the questions super quick. What are your top five favorite things to do in your city? So if you didn't know, I am from Toronto, Canada. So it's really hard for me to narrow it down to top 5 things, or rather even think of 5 things that I do, because I'm so used to being in my little like nook here. But I really like going to brunch. Like brunch in Toronto or any like big city is always like a fun thing. It's very Sex in the City vibe, and that's definitely one of my favorite things to do. And when they're on, I really like going to those like pop-ups and stuff. They're usually pretty Instagrammable, and then little like festivals and stuff that go on within the city. And then when my friends and I are up for it, I love going to like the clubs and the bars. Clubs not so much, rather. I take that back. Clubs, no. Bars, yes. There's a bar that is my absolute favorite that is like meant for like an older crowd, so I feel young when I go in because I'm one of the younger ones that go in, but it's definitely fun for me. I also just kind of like exploring different streets and stuff, like Queen Street West and all that. Like shopping here is pretty cool, even though as like a plus size person, I don't find that there's a crazy amount of plus size options for me, but there is a decent amount to do shopping wise. And then, you know, just kind of exploring different neighborhoods and such. And number 5, oh boy, what is number 5? I really like going to the movies here, but yeah, I can't think of a crazy amount of things that I love doing that are specific to being in the city, but overall, I just like that things are more accessible to me here, and I don't have to like pick and choose when it's time to go to like a certain event or whatever. Are you still with your boo? Yes, I am. I'm sorry if it seems like I'm not. I just don't post about him a crazy amount because, you know, we've been together for almost 7 years, and that doesn't necessarily mean anything other than the fact that like he's a part of my life. He's a very regular part of my life now, and my YouTube channel and my Instagram are about my career. They're about plus size fashion. They're about that sort of stuff, and he's never been one to really care for being on screen or in photos or anything like that. So again, yeah, I'm really sorry if it seems like I'm not. We're definitely still together, and he's coming in to Canada in like 4 days, so things are pretty fine there. What is your favorite scented candle this time of year? Oh, this time of year it's kind of interesting because it's too early for Valentine's Day, Christmas is past, so I kind of just do like coffee smells. Like I really love a good coffee smell. Bath and Body Works has one called Paris Cafe that is really, really nice. Something that's just very simple. I have actually been trying to use my incense diffuser a little bit more because that's just easier to get more like basic smells, and I'm still at this current moment burning like a peppermint candle. What's your favorite alcoholic beverage? I don't really drink that often, and when I do, I don't do it for the taste. I honest to God can't really give you a favorite one because I don't really love the taste of alcohol. So what's your opinion on influencers who heavily edit their Insta pics? Ooh, I feel like everyone is kind of the master of their own domain. If you want to like heavily change the way that you look, like who am I to say anything? But with that being said, if you have like a really big fan base and you're kind of like promoting your body type as being like achievable when you know for a fact that your body type is heavily edited, then I can't really get on board with that. But I think with that being said, as consumers, at least speaking from my perspective, I can almost always assume that somebody has edited their body in some capacity. How are your 30s treating you? Very well. I was so scared about being in my 30s, but I think that I am thriving right now. There is a lot that I've accomplished in my 2 years of being 30 that I'm... Oh, sorry if you're hearing that. That is my heat kicking on. I apologize if that was a terrifying sound. I like it. I thought that I was gonna hate my 30s, but my 30s are actually pretty awesome. Do you wax? Well, I used to before I used this laser hair removal kit that I have, which is somewhere in my room. I actually just used it today. And I will wax my eyebrows and stuff like that, but not as often as I used to. Oh my god, I just realized that you probably didn't mean it that way. You probably meant it about something else. Do you want to get married one day? I do want to get married one day. I hope it happens, and Gil and I have definitely talked about it, but I think the unfortunate thing with me in my life is that I feel like I've started to really live like not a single life, but I've started to live an independent life finally, after, you know, all of my 20s kind of wanting that for myself. And now that I have that independence, I so crave it and I so want it. and I'm not ready to give it up yet. I think I really need to experience this, and it's a really good life lesson for me. So I do, but I just don't know when. I don't want to wait forever because I also want to have kids. So would you rather be an exotic dancer or a phone sex operator? Probably the latter, because I do not have the moves to be an exotic dancer, but I apparently have the voice to be a phone sex operator, which has been said to me many times. What's your favorite emoji? I don't know that I have one. Maybe like the shrug emoji. I kind of use the shrug emoji a lot, so I'm just gonna go with that. Who is your favorite drag queen? I don't know that I have like any specific favorites. I don't keep up with the drag community as much as I would want, but I really like Kimchi. She's so incredible, and I'm gonna say Sasha Velour as well, because like her drag is just so artistic. Not that they all aren't, but she just like is very artistic in the way she just kind of produces, or she just kind of performs. And I met her once, and she's like, her season of Drag Race I think is like one of the only seasons that I've watched. Who is your favorite musical artist? I don't know. I don't know. That's so hard for me to say. I feel like it really just depends on what mood I'm in. Right now I'm listening to a whole lot of Harry Styles, but I can't say that he's my favorite. I listen to a lot of Fleetwood Mac and Talking Heads and stuff like that, so they're probably up there with my favorites. Celine Dion or Shania Twain? I would probably have to go with Celine Dion. I know I'm gonna sound like a terrible Canadian, and this is like a hot take for y'all, but I don't really like Shania Twain. When will you be back in Boston? I don't know, but probably sometime early March, because this time of year is very interesting, because if I'm not going like in January, then I'm not going until March, because my anniversary with Gil is like March 2nd or 3rd. I can never remember which day it is. And then Gil's birthday is March 12th. And so it doesn't make sense to go for Valentine's Day. Probably around then. Love your hair color. You inspire me to change mine from black to eventually your color. Any tips? So thank you, by the way. It has been a journey. All I can say when you're changing your hair from a really dark color, which by the way I did that, I went from jet black to like a ginger red. Expect it A, to cost a lot of money, B, do not do it at home. I'm telling you, if you take one thing from this video, do not do a home job. Do your research. Make sure the person you're going to has experience with reds, and know that you're gonna have a long journey ahead of you. I completely stripped the color and went red in one try, and that required a lot of bleaching, a lot of lightening. Use Olaplex. Make sure that wherever you go, Olaplex, O-L-A-P-L-E-X, Olaplex will really help salvage your hair. Take whatever shampoo or hair conditioning treatments, any suggestions that your, salon artist has for you, buy them and all that stuff. Know it's a process. Your hair is gonna get a little bit damaged, but it is a journey and it's worth it in the end. My hair is one of my favorite things about me, even though it is quite a lot to upkeep, but I love being a redhead, and I have never looked back after ditching being, black. How did you get started in fashion? The year was 2010. I just got out of a really toxic relationship, and my boyfriend at the time, who by the way is not Gil, he was such a naysayer. He hated, not hate, but I used to tell him all the time that I wanted to do something with fashion, and I wanted to help other people and also explore what fashion meant to me, and he always just used to tell me like, other people do that already. I don't think like you need to do that. I think like it was a little bit of like not necessarily a revenge, but it was more so like, hey, I can do this thing that you told me I could never do. And I was lucky enough to get into blogging at the very beginning of it. Like, I got in when all the like big well-known people were also vlogging, and I was able to develop somewhat of a following there. So like, hey, also let me know if you're here from the Tumblr days, because that is like where this all began for me. I had like maybe 3 things in my wardrobe that I had to keep recycling. I remember I used to put outfits together and I would have like, I had a single pair of black flats that were so worn down, and I remember someone like called me out on it, and they're like, love your outfits, but like you always wear the same shoes. And that's kind of where I started, but it's just taken off since and turned into like a YouTube channel and Instagram and stuff like that. So it's been a lot of fun. I really love fashion, and it's just been a lot of fun to do this whole thing with a lot of you guys who are still here from the beginning, which I think is like the coolest thing. Okay, so that was the last one that wasn't spammy. Like, I have one here that is you like sex, and I'm not answering that because you are a perv and I'm not answering your pervy comments. But that is everything for this Ask Me Anything. If you guys want anything like this again in the future, let me know. These are really fun. I like sitting down and kind of answering these things. I'd love to do this again. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this video. I think I'm running out of sunlight, unfortunately. I will see you guys next time though, so don't forget you can find new videos from me every Wednesday and every Sunday, and new blog posts every Tuesday and every Thursday, and I'll see you next time. Bye!